not functioning. Okay, now done. All right. So we have 14 students now. Okay. So before we... Okay, so today I'm going to teach you a little bit on the first part of the group case study, because I think I need to start this first, because you need to come up with 10 research question. No, research question, 10 interview question, so that I need to I need to check group by group interview question. So I'm going to explain a little bit lah on how to do the research the interview question. Okay. So before we go to that particular assignment, I'm going to explain a little bit on the updates that I put here. Okay. All right. So I already put this class conduct and deadlines inside your group WhatsApp group. Okay. So this one is talking about the individual assignments and group assignments. So basically we have 2 presentation, okay, this semester. Okay, one is group, another one is the chapter presentation on the individual level. Okay. All right. The platform that I'm using is actually Untitled WhatsApp group is also being used. Okay. Basically, this is the 2 main platform that I'm using for this class. Google Meet will be 6 to 7:30. Basically, after 7 is the Q&A lah, meaning that you want to stay and ask me a little bit. Okay. The YouTube channel is all my online class, but I'm going to put here as well. Okay. If you're lost, you can actually go into your iStudyLink. Google Form, and also a little bit on the... We are going to use email for submission of assignments. That's why I didn't use Google Classroom. I know that some other lecturers use Google Classroom, but not. Okay. Okay, this is how you can contact me. Okay, individual assignment will be 5 slides PowerPoint, chapter presentation. Okay, both of these assignments need to be submit on the same date lah, because it's actually connected to each other. Copywriting report will be around 30%. I'm still working on the template. I think you need to cover around 6 templates that you need to submit to me. That's why it's 30%. I'm just like thinking about whether to open IG or not. No need lah. Instagram. We're just going to do report only on how to do copywriting. Okay, online quiz will be on 27 April until 11 May. This one is around before Aidilfitri and also on Ramadan. Okay, on Ramadan. Case study report, the deadline will be 15 June. This one is 30%, and case study presentation video is around 10%. I didn't come up with the assignment instruction for presentation video yet. Okay, so basically copywriting and case study presentation video, I didn't come up yet with the instruction. I'm going to give you later on. Okay, so I made a little bit of mistake here. Okay, online quiz I put 2020. This is 2021. All right. Attendance will be taken through Gmeet. And then the rest is normal lah. All right. So basically, this is the class conduct and deadlines. Any question with regards to this? Do you have any question? No, All right. Okay, attendance you can I will be taking your attendance manually based on the Gmail attendance that will be reported to me lah later on after the class is over. So the attendance, you can just click here. I cannot click here because this is let me change. Okay, if you switch, okay. So if you click here and attendance, you can see your percentage lah. So basically there is a percentage. Okay. There is like you must come to my class. Not more. Like over 80%. Okay, over 80%. Okay. We have ebook and slides link here. Okay, I think I need to repeat again because some of you is not here. And then we have group case study report, individual chapter presentation. Okay, we go through individual first. All right. Okay, the deadline is 9 April, around 1 month. Okay, so you need to select one chapter. It's okay for those who just come in. You can just select any chapter because this already covered all. You need to prepare 5 slides. 5 slides only. So do not go more than 5 slides. If you ask me whether your name is included or not, your name is not included. You can start your content starting on the second slide, meaning that you can have maximum 6 slides lah, including your name, the title of the chapter. Okay. You need to use all mind map in all slides. Okay, what I mean by mind map, don't use words. Just select design. All right. Okay, so for example, this is your name. Oh, why is it hang? Okay, this is your name, and then this is not included lah. Okay, you have, all right. So for example, this one, you don't have to do the, what you call it, the introduction of the chapter whatsoever, and no need. You can put some headlines here, just going into the headline. If let's say you can see that for example, this one, chapter objective, no need to do no need to do chapter objective, just jump into the mind map that you want to present. So basically I put here as you can use smart art. Okay, so you can use smart art. This is smart art, smart art graphic. So use lah something like this. Hierarchy or relationship. For example, you want to do like this. So it depends on your creativity lah. And then you don't have to cover everything inside the chapter. You just cover whatever you feel like you can cover lah within that 5 slide. Okay. And then use another smart art, for example, like this one. Okay. Don't use the same smart art. Or if you want to do infographic, it's up to you lah. Okay. I'm not really sure whether you want to join my Canva or not. Canva means a place to do design. Not sure. Okay, but don't use Canva lah to make your slides. Okay, Canva have slides as well. For example, like where's the slide now? This one, education presentation. Okay, this is just an example lah. Canva have this one, but if you want to create something using mind map within the something like this, don't do your, because it's very nice and it's very nice. Okay, you can actually have mind map as well within the Canva. I'm not really sure if you want to use Canva or not, but you can actually download this. For example, you do your slides in here, but you download this as PNG, high quality image. Then it will come out several image. Then you copy paste inside the PowerPoint. Because why I ask you to use PowerPoint is because the, what you call it, the recording function that the, what call it, the presentation, the PowerPoint provide. Okay, because there is a recording here, screen recording. If your PowerPoint have this, you can use this for screen recording, or you can what's it in view, no review. This one, you can use this one as well. We've got slideshow. Okay, and then I give you a link that you can use to do your presentation through a PowerPoint. Okay, but if you want to use other call it other software, like I'm using Camtasia or maybe other screen recording software, you can use it. Okay, but if you want to use Canva, because Canva also can for example, present a record. They have this function. Canva also have this function, but they cannot come up with MP4 file. So that is their problem. They just come out like a link or something. So I don't want only link. If you have for example, if you have other screen recording software, but you want to, for example, present, okay, then you present, but using the other software, let's say, for example, this one, but using Canva, but the main objective is that you need to have MP4 file. That's it. So whatever medium you want to use and whatever software you want to use is up to you lah. Sometimes you can use PowerPoint, but I'm not sure if, let's say, you have this function. You can use Canva to present and use you open PowerPoint as well and do screen recording. So if you have the function, you can use this function to record the Canva, because Canva is very, very nice lah in terms of their slides and whatsoever. So my Canva is a premium Canva, meaning that you can open anything. As you can see here, if let's say you have a free Canva, you come out, you just sign in with a normal email. It will come out. For example, this is Edu. Edu means it's actually, before this is premium. You need to pay. But now it's free under my Canva because I actually apply for Edu Canva, okay, education Canva, and you can actually be under my class. Okay, if you are interested to be under my Canva, because once you connect with me, once you're under my Canva class, you can open everything within the Canva. No need to pay, except for donate lah. This one is the new thing that Canva come out. Donate ni you need to pay lah. Okay, and then the other thing is free. Okay. So if you interested later on, for example, like this, okay, this is my class. As you can see here, this is my class, and organizational behavior, because they have assignment that use Canva as compulsory, so they are actually under my class of Canva, so they can open everything within the Canva under me. Okay, it's a bit slow. Okay. So this is the class, and then the people under me is around 66. This is all my students. Okay. So if you're interested to be under my Canva class, PM me your email. Yeah, I don't think everyone wants to use the Canva lah. All right. All right. You must submit your slides in PDF form. Okay. If you use Canva, you can actually download in PDF lah. That one is normal. Okay. And then email to me at medapartyclass@gmail.com. Okay. Together with your video link in one email. So basically, when you are recording your chapter presentation, you actually will have MP4 files. Okay, some of you using Gmeet. I'm not sure if you have Gmeet recording. You can do that as well. And the MP4 file must be put under one Google Drive or Dropbox or OneDrive file. Then you submit to me the link only. Okay. If you want to submit the MP4 file, it's going to be big lah. Just submit to me on the link of the drive, of the file within the drive. Okay. Each video must not less than 15 minutes, not exceed more than 20 minutes. So basically, one slide around 4 minutes. Okay. So you need to budget lah your time. Why is this presentation is quite important is that when you are doing your proposal defense later on, you need to plan your presentation. Okay, and use a lot of mind map, so that it's easier for the examiner to see. So this is a training for you lah. Okay, and then you must record your voice and the slides above this one. Okay, you don't have to put your face. If you want to put your face, it's up to you, because I'm going to put your recording into my YouTube. I think last semester there are some video that is, I don't know, that cannot come out in my YouTube because maybe too heavy or something. Not sure. So any question with regards to chapter presentation? No, all right. Anyone here go into Dr. Amirah class? Some of you went into her class, right? Okay, so she's actually teaching. She's actually giving you one assignment. It's called group report. Okay, she's actually taking a little bit from my last assignment from marketing management, because last semester I'm teaching marketing management. So this semester she's teaching now. So sometimes I will touch on the report format a little bit, but it's not going to be very complicated. It's not. Okay, so this semester class from consumer behavior, we're talking about qualitative. Okay, I'm going to teach you a little bit on the, what we call it, on all right, on the group case study. Yeah. Okay. All right. So basically, okay. So basically, this is what I come out last semester. I think Dr. Amira come up with a different type of template, but it's quite the same lah. Okay, quite the same. All right. So this is last semester, and this is not this semester. Okay, why I show you this, because I want to introduce you to qualitative. So when it comes to qualitative, the difference between the case study research proposal compared to quantitative versus qualitative. Okay, so this is not the template. I open up the template. Because this semester I'm not teaching you on the template of the real research, because I skipped chapter 1, chapter 2, okay, because I already teach last semester. If you are taking the Tamira class, you also will go through this. Okay, so this is basically the chapter by chapter lah. When it comes to quantitative, we have chapter 1 introduction, we have chapter 2 literature review, okay, and then we have chapter 3 research method, basically like that lah. So when it comes to qualitative, it's also like that. It's the same thing. It's just that the way you write is going to be different. Okay, how different it is, how different qualitative and quantitative is. Okay, all right. So when it comes to quantitative, we have something like this. The problem statement is quite the same like qualitative. Background of the study also quite the same thing. The difference is actually on the main objective. Okay, and one thing that people kind of like asking me, do we need to do qualitative? Okay, why quali actually? Why you need to? Why there is this research method actually? Why this is important to know? Because sometimes researchers choose this. Why they choose this? Okay, number one is that your research is very subjective. It's very subjective. For example, perception, consumer perception, or maybe employee spirituality, employee ethics, integrity, or maybe wait, someone called me. Kat kredit agaknya. It's not even me. It's a long number. Okay, so why quali? Number one is because you have a very subjective title. For example, like perception, spirituality, ethics, integrity. This is when you want to come up with quantitative, you cannot, because quantitative is quantifiable. You can calculate. But when it comes to subjective title like perception, consumer preference, customer, what is it? Sometimes customer loyalty also can become very subjective. Okay, and then you want to consider studying something very subjective. Quali is the way to go. Okay. And number two, your research is very new. Very new. For example, when you try to find journals from Google Scholar, you cannot find the past researcher. Okay, when you cannot find the past researcher, quali is the way to go, because quali is, it's not like quali does not necessary to have past literatures. You can have, for example, the we call it, you want to come up with a new concept, a new model, but you cannot find it from the past, Quali is the one that you can use. Okay. Number 3 is, this is number 2. Number 3 is the researcher themselves. The researcher themselves. Some people, they want to have numbers. They want to have numbers that can give them explanation, and then that's it. For example, frequency, female is 10, male is 8. That's it. No more explanation. Okay, there's another researcher, they want more explanation. Okay, for example, they get female, frequency female 10, male 8. Why? Why this is happening? I want to find why is going on between this. For example, significant in between we call it service quality. Service quality is not significant to brand decision, for example. Okay, this is the past researcher result. But you will keep asking why. You keep asking why. So you go to qualitative. If you're okay with only numbers and the numbers give you the explanation of the findings of your research, then no need to go for qualitative. Sometimes the researcher themselves are like that. I have a supervisor like that. His name is Sheldon, I think. He's already graduated. He wants to do consumer perception on data privacy on Facebook. So I when he searched about all the past researchers, there are some research that is quantifiable. There are some of them are qualitative. So they have he have two options to do quanti or quali. But I asked him, is it okay for you to just stop at numbers that giving you explanation? And he said that it's not. He wants to know more. He wants to explain more. So what I did is I asked him to do qualitative. If let's say, even though that I'm a qualitative researcher, in my master level, I'm a quantitative researcher. So I have two different point of view. So if let's say my supervisor wants to do quantitative, I don't force them to do qualitative. I also learn from you guys, okay? All right, any questions so far? Why you want to do qualitative?
Madam, I would like to ask, if we want to do qualitative method, is there any minimum or maximum numbers of respondents that we should get the data from?
All right, so that one is qualitative is very creative kind of research, okay, and it depends. If you're asking me about participant, it depends. When it comes to quantitative, we call them respondent. When it comes to quantitative, we call them respondent. But when it comes to qualitative, we call them participant. Okay. So sometimes when it comes to participant, it depends. For example, you are researching about two companies. You want to know about two companies. So your participant is 2. But within this company, you have, you interview 10. Company A, company B, but your participants still considered as 2. But if you are doing in-depth means face-to-face, one-to-one person, okay, one-to-one participant. Like me, I'm doing my PhD in UPM, so they say that you need to have at least 20. Okay, but my supervisor here in RUM, he's been doing qualitative on master level. He only interview 10, and it's acceptable. Okay, but basically on the PhD level, 20 lah. But it depends on what type of participant that you are researching. Okay, sometimes it can become a group. Okay, a group of people. For example, high school, middle school, okay, middle school, university level. Okay, so only 3. It can become a group. And sometimes quali also can involve videos. Okay, one of my friend actually, her participant is video. She's doing Upin Ipin. If you know this lah, Upin Ipin. She only watch video. So the videos she watched around 20. So the participant of videos is 20. Some of qualitative researcher, they are only their participant is biography, meaning books. Okay, books talking about the prime minister of the past, biography of prime minister. For example, in Malaysia we have how many prime minister? 6. I don't remember. 6, 7 macam tu lah kan. 6 to 7 PM. So the participant only 6 to 7. Prime minister 6 to 7 participant. So, but if you ask me, basically, from my experience, if you are master level, you want to do qualitative, you can go up to 10. If you are PhD level, you can go up to 20. Okay, same like quanti as well. It depends on the sample size, kan? The sample size, for example, you have 1 million. And then there is a formula or Crahen or whatever. Okay, 1 million, how many sample size? For example, 300. If let's say you have a sample, if you have a size, for example, you want to give questionnaire to to high school student in Malaysia, around 2 million. Okay, but you just take the sample around 350. Okay, but qualitative is actually much more complex because the participant can be human, can be videos, can be social media platform, can be social media page, can be biography, can be TikTok videos, can be Twitter tweets. So qualitative is very, very creative lah, meaning that if you want to do a creative way of doing things, you can do qualitative lah. Alright, any other question? Okay, no, alright. So what is the difference between quantitative and qualitative? So if you gone through my last class, marketing management, or you've been taking the same class with Tamira, okay, this is how you write your research objective. This is for quantitative. Okay, this study seeks to identify research objective 1 to determine the relationship between attitude IV number 1 towards DDV, okay, and the respondent at place. So basically in qualitative, you cannot mention anything about relationship between something to something. This is forbidden. Okay. For example, if I want to change this into quantitative, it can become like this. To explore parents' intention Okay. On, for example, their children lah. The children on children. Parents' intention on children knowledge, for example. In Malaysia. It seems like there is a relationship, but it's not. Because you are using explore. Some of the things you can use to understand the consequences, to understand, to explore. You can use that kind of terms lah. Okay. But it should not be relationship, because when it comes to qualitative, there is no relationship. Okay, because you're just understanding one scenario or something like that. Okay, this is contribution is quite the same like quantitative. When it comes to literature review, it's not. So for example, when it comes to literature review, talking about IV. Okay, this one is first IV, first independent variable, second independent variable, until the end. We're talking about the relationship between independent variable and also dependent variable. Okay, so when it comes to qualitative, you just talk about the elements that you use within the model, and the model itself you cannot be like this. There is no H. There is no hypothesis in qualitative. Okay, your qualitative the framework can become a process. This is process. It can become a mind map. The framework. It can become Venn diagram. What's more? It can become something like this, but there is no relationship. Okay, and there is, I think there are several qualitative research as well that doesn't have any framework at all. Doesn't have any framework, just all words. But I would suggest to come up with framework for qualitative, so that people who actually read your thesis understand what you are doing. Okay, any question so far? No, Okay. So this template I gave to Dr. Amira. I think she's also upgraded this one, because she's actually much more expert than me when it comes to quantitative in PhD level. I'm actually more on qualitative, because I've gone through quantitative on master level. At least I come up with this lah. This is the basic one, right? Okay. If you want this template, those who doesn't have this template and not inside the Dr. Mira class, you can PM me if you want this template. This template is very helpful when you want to do your research, Okay. Okay. Okay, now we go to here. Okay. Okay, you need to come up with 3 or 4 students. Please share your list of groups inside the WhatsApp group later on. Okay. The name and also the metric ID. Okay. Research title is okay. Table content is okay. Introduction. What is going on with introduction? Introduction. What to put inside introduction? Okay. Okay, introduction you can do later lah, after you done all the findings whatsoever. Introduction is the summary of each item from 4 to 4 to 13. Each item from 4 to 13. Okay, so you just take around 2 to 3 sentences lah per item, then you combine. Okay, for example, you're talking about consumer profile. We don't want to have a very detailed things lah. Introduction, you say that consumer profile for the business is around age 15 to 25. That's it. Okay. And then you talk about the products and service list. For example, they are in the food and beverage products, dessert. Make it like general lah when it comes to writing the introduction. Which market? Just touch the key point from item number 4 until item number 30. So I think number 5 is okay. 6 is okay. Okay, problem. All right, problem. Because this one, when it comes to the problem, you can either find, when it comes to the problem, okay, you can either find problem from newspaper. If you take a very big company, for example, KFC or McDonald's, you found problem that exists in the newspaper or maybe in the Facebook. Okay, the real life problem. For example, KFC or McD. The problem is too much fat, for example, not healthy. Okay, this one you found in newspaper, so you can include under problem statement. So basically around 1 paragraph only lah, compared to if you want to do the real research later on. You need to have problem from real life problem. You need to have a problem from literature gap and also theoretical gap. That one is real one, but for this assignment, I want only real life problem. But if you are doing this one is for big company, big company, very big company lah, the company that is very well known. If you have a small company, for example, like you help your friend, okay, helping friends, or maybe your company yourself, okay, so you ask your customer. This one is called as pre-interview. Okay, you interview first your customer or this company's customer, asking what is the problem that they found exists within this company. So for example, you go interview, go more than two. So for example, you interview, just do the pre-interview, asking about what is the problem only. So try to find 3 participants for interview. This is called pre. Asking what's the problem. If let's say there's 3 participants talking about the same problem, for example, the price is too high, okay, very expensive. So you can conclude that this company have problem when it comes to pricing. Okay, so you need to show within your problem statement saying that our group make pre-interview with 3 participants to ask about the problem. They mention the same problem, talking about price being expensive for this company. And then your problem, you're just focusing on price only. expensive price. So that is the key thing. Okay. Any questions so far? No, eh? Okay. If you in this assignment, I put interview question. Okay. Research question versus interview question. So what is the difference between this? You need to know the difference. So if you go to God, I already closed down it. So if you go to research question in a quantitative way, still you need to use something lah. Okay, for example, within this template, I didn't put research question. But basically, after the research objective, there is research question. Research question is the way you just write it in the, we call it in the question mark format. Okay, for example, what, why. Okay, basically this is what, why, how. Sometimes people put when lah, but it's not really appropriate. So what, why, how. For example, research question coming from this one. If I want to change this one into this one into this one, to what is the relationship between the attitude? Okay, if you put like this, what is the relationship? This is research question. So when it comes to qualitative, you cannot have relationship. So if let's say to explore customer perception, okay, I'll give you another example. On Facebook. Okay, so the research, this is research objective for quali, because we cannot have one relationship. So to explore customer perception on Facebook, this is RO for quali. And if you want to change to research question, what is the customer perception on Facebook? Okay, so basically, if when it comes to quali or quanti, both have research question. It's just the way, meaning in between this one, the difference is no relationship and no relationship. That's it. So that's how, that is the difference between these two lah. Okay, but both quantitative and qualitative research must have research question. But we don't want to focus on quanti. Okay, we focus on quali. So if you have, I give you the example. What is the customer perception on Facebook? Okay, so that is the question. This is question number one. From this one, you can actually come up with several questions to be asked in the interview. Okay, for example, what is the perception? This is just a question. But if you want to change it into interview question, it can be perception towards data privacy, for example, perception on Facebook homepage, perception on Facebook layout, perception on Facebook something. Okay, so one research question can come up with several interview questions. This is the difference between these two is that this one you write it in your thesis, this one you interview to your participant. Okay, so for this assignment, I don't want you to bother about research question. We just go straight to the interview question. Any question so far? I just want to show you what is the difference between research question and also interview question. All right. So you need to.
Assalamu alaikum, madam. So
Salam.
I have one question. That is, how many interview questions should we form? Do you have any limitation?
Okay, that's a good question actually. Okay, every qualitative research have different different numbers of RQ. Okay, different numbers of RQs. For example, one research have sometimes have 3 only, or maybe some of them have 2, some of them have 5. Okay, so it depends on how many research questions they have. For example, they have 5 RQ. So and then from each RQ you have reading. For example, RQ number 1, you have reading a lot of things. You read a lot of things, and from this RQ, for example, talking about perception, okay, on Facebook. So within the reading, come up with layout. Okay, in the past researchers come up with homepage, come up with what and what. So you can ask them based on this readings. If I want to compare with the quantitative, it calls measurement, but when it comes to qualitative, we don't have all that. Okay, for example, you are reading about perception, consumer perception on social media. So you read in the past researcher talking the perception talking about the social media function button, or the social media homepage, or the social media colors, layout. So you can ask your your participant all these things. So basically, it doesn't have any fixed number. It's up to you. Okay, it's up to you. But for your assignment, for example, you have one specific problem. You just focus on one specific problem. Like I give you example before, talking about price is very high. So you come up with a 10 interview question that you can ask on price being very expensive. Okay, for example, price basically talking about quality. Price also talking about packaging. Price also talking about rental or location of the shops. Price also talking about what's more, the quantity of the product itself. Is it too much? Is it very little? So this kind of thing, basically, all these things, this quantity, quality, packaging, rental, if you do a real research, qualitative research, you need to take all these things, this one, from past researchers or past journals readings. But for this assignment, you put it your own thoughts lah. You put yourself on your participant shoes lah. What is connected to the price or being very expensive? Or you can ask your pre-interview participants, what makes them feel like that? Is it because of the quantity of the food? Okay, but sometimes for example, I've been charged for nasi kandar. I've been charged for food that is the quantity is very a lot. For example, Arab rice, nasi Arab, very a lot, and the charge is around 20-25 ringgit. For me, it's okay because the quantity is okay lah. The quantity is big. Okay, so this kind of thing you can actually include in your 10 interview question. But you need to focus on the problem that you found in the problem statement. just focus on one problem. I don't want you to come up with several problem. All right. But in a real research, it depends on your RQ and your readings. But I don't want to do readings because it's going to be very complicated. So this is your own thoughts lah, or your own findings from pre-interview. Okay. Any question for that? Okay. So what I want you to do is you come up with the 10 interview questions that can actually have what, why, how, these three. Try to avoid when. Okay, come up with an interview question that is not having a short answer. Okay, if you become a qualitative researcher, you must predict what kind of answer been given to you as a researcher. You can predict, but you never know lah what's the findings later on. So you just predict. For example, what is your perception on company or stall A's price? Okay, so this question can give you a very long answer. But if you put a question like this, how frequent, even though you use how frequent you buy food at stall A? Even though you use how, the answer will be very, very short. The answer should be like, the answer will be given to you like, or 3 times a week. That's it. You cannot do anything. You cannot do anything when it comes to this type of answer. So you need to change your question. Okay. So so what I need to do, you come up with 10 questions, 10 interview questions from what, why, and how. But if you can come up with a question that use when, but can give you long answer, you can use it. But I would advise not to use it, because basically, usually, it will give you a very short answer lah. Okay, but if you can come up with a long answer with using when, you can use it. Okay, so come up with 10 interview questions based on the problem that you found. Okay, and write it in the WhatsApp. Write your 10 questions in WhatsApp and PM to me. I will comment on WhatsApp. You can get one representative lah to do that. Okay. So after that, when I say that, okay, your question all pass, then you can put it in the Google form. Okay. So the Google form is how to use Google form. So if you want to use a Google form, you go to Google form. Ini Gmail. All right. Go to Google Docs. Okay. Basically, when it comes to qualitative interview, we do go for a face-to-face interview lah. But because of the COVID thingy, no need. So you go to Google Forms. Okay. There is no multiple choice something. Okay. Here you put the form here. This you can put the description of form. This one you can put the title of your research. Okay. Put the question here. The interview question number 1 here. And then you change this into paragraph and make it required. Okay, so the interview question number 2, you do the same thing. Long paragraph. Don't make it short, Don't make it short answer. We want long. Okay, so this is interview question number 2. So this is how you do your form, So any questions so far? Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. You understand? Or maybe
Um,
some of you don't understand.
Yes,
Ma'am,
understand,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, understand,
Assalamu
ma'am.
alaikum, madam.
Okay, good. Yes.
I have one
Hello.
question. Can we do
Uh-huh.
face-to-face interview?
Yes, you can do, but there is one problem when it comes to face. You need to transcribe, meaning that you need to write again the interview. So if you want to cut short your time, use this one.
Oh, I see. But
Uh,
sometimes if your customers, they don't like to write. So that time, I think it's better to have a face-to-face interview. You can do
mm-hmm,
recording. So
mm-hmm.
from the recording, you can write the answer by your own
Okay.
set. Is
Mm-hmm.
it okay?
Yes, you can. Okay, so if you feel that, yeah, so you are right as well because from my past experience, my students actually have quite short answer because the participant doesn't want to write. It is true. Okay, so if you want to do the interview on face to face, try to make it around 10 to 15 minutes only. That 10 question, make it around 10 to 15 minutes because if you go up more than that, it's very hard for you to extract their findings. So if you want to do like that, if you want to do the in-depth one, you can do like this. You can transcribe. All right. Uh, but it depends on you lah on how to do the findings. If I feel okay, it's okay lah. But if but some I think your seniors before they do it when they use the Google form, so you get the findings in Excel. So it's actually easier lah for you to do the coding. Uh, I don't want you to feel burdened lah. But I think like some of your seniors before, when they get they still use the Google form, they still submit the Google form, but when they get a very short answer, they submit again to the same person to write again, something like that. So it depends on how you control lah. I'm not expecting a very lengthy findings lah. Okay, as long as you have something to be you have something to be coded. For example, like this, I say P1 is participant number 1. So from the transcribe from the Google form finding, the participant number 1 said that English is how is the learning of the English language necessary to you? Because they say that English is an international language, but participant number 2 saying that the learning of English because the learning of English language. So what they did is they come up with a team. They need to come up with a team. Team means tema, team. Okay, they need to come up with a team. Okay, language. So this is actually coming from not a very lengthy one lah, but enough information that they can come up with some themes that is quite similar from participant number 1 and participant number 2. So that's why I ask you to have a little bit of more findings, but if it's too much, it's going to burden you. Okay, so you can go through the rest. If you understand, you can go through the rest lah, raw finding like this. I'm going to explain later on once you have your findings. Once you have your findings, then that's the time I teach you research, data analysis, and also the summary of research finding. This one, no need lah. This one is very simple one. Okay. Okay. So, any question? Okay. No, All right. So I think that's all lah. Okay. So if you want to ask me anything, you can stay. Okay. I'm here until 7:30. If you want to leave, you can leave. Okay, so I think that's all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, madam. Assalamualaikum. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Okay.
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
All right.
Thank you, madam.
Okay. Welcome.